dealers.
You used to deal drugs, robbing?
No. We didn't sell drugs. We robbed the drug dealers.
Oh, shit.
They had the money.
Oh, shit. Andre, I know that you had a crazy past. You know, I'm not going to spoil it for everyone, but I want you to first go into your past a little bit and where you come from, what led you to go to maximum security prison, and how, you know, eventually you were able to turn your life around.
Well, I was born in Boston, Massachusetts. My mom married a high school sweetheart, had 2 kids. He went to jail for robbing banks. Then she met my dad. He said, like, my mother's first husband went to jail for robbing banks.
Okay, sorry, I thought I was hearing stuff. Okay.
No, she married a bank robber. She was married. She had 2 kids. Her husband goes to prison for robbing banks. Then she meets my dad, a local drug dealer, and she has 4 more kids. That's where I came in. So now you got mom, dad, 6 kids. Everything's good. Everything's good except for my dad had a habit of beating my mom. So we went through the whole domestic violence scenario. At first, you get mad, you get upset, you get emotional. Then after a while, you just get disgusted. And you start saying, well, this is just a way of life. And you tune out your emotions in that space. And you just learn to cope.
So let me recap really quick, because this is hard for me to even, you know, fathom for a second. You have 2 older siblings from
4. Oh, yeah, 2 from my
two from, yeah, 4 older siblings. But so 2 siblings from your half siblings.
Yes.
From your mom, that they were from a dad. You know, they're from your mom's previous husband.
Correct.
She met your dad. He was a bank robber. He robbed a couple of banks. He went to jail. How long did he go to jail? He went to jail forever?
No, he did like 8 years.
He did 8 years. Then while he was in prison, then your mom met your dad now. You know what I mean? You met dad, which was a drug dealer, you know, and had 4 kids. So you have 4, you know, you have 3, you know, what, 2 brothers, 1 sister?
There's 3 sisters, 3 boys, 3 girls at the end of the day.
Wow. So now you're living in a family that's, you know, with your mom, your drug dealer dad. If I don't want to say,
that's what it is.
Okay. That's kind of weird saying that. And drug dealer dad and 6 siblings. And then you watch your dad kind of beat up on your mom.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay. I had to frame it for myself. Sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, the toughest part about that is I don't know anything else. I've never been to your house. I've never been to other people's house. I'm little. I'm 3. I'm 4. I'm 5.
Oh, you know.
This is what it is. This is how life works because I don't get to go outside. I mean, I go outside in the yard and play, but this is the world I know. So in the world I know, this is what happens. So in the world I learned, this is how you deal with what happens. So what can I do as a 6-year-old when my mom's got a black eye? What can I do as a 6-year-old when my dad's kicking the door off the hinges? What do I do as a little kid when my dad tells me, you better stop crying before I give you something to cry for? You learn to internalize this stuff and process it the best way you can. And the truth is, as a 7-year-old, I don't process well. Yeah. So I blame myself. I blame the world. I get everything but my dad has a problem because I don't know how to register. My dad is the problem because dad is the center of the universe.
Yes.
So we go through that. Then we start going to school, which was a savior. We got to get out of the house for a couple hours a day. We start going to school. We ride the school bus, go to school. We come back. It's a relief from the craziness.
Yes.
But then coming home from school, white kids get on the side of the road, stop throwing rocks at our bus and calling us niggas. It's like back in the 70s in Boston, there was a thing called the busing crisis. I was one of those kids on the bus. And I was one of the kids that rode the bus and got rocks and names and taunted and all that because a federal judge had a great idea. I'm going to send white and black kids to school together and I'm going to make the world a better place. He never called me and told me, Andre, to make the world a better place, I need these sacrifices from you. I need you to be in on this because you're going to have to go through some really tough times to get us as a country to get to a better place. I never got that memo. I never got that sit down. And I don't think we're at a better place when it comes to education in the city. But I went through that. And I came home to my dad. I'm like, yo, Dad, why are these white people throwing rocks at me? But what I didn't know, my father grew up in down South Virginia in the 40s and the 50s, where kids threw rocks at them too, routinely. So he had a complete...
He had it worse.
10 times worse. So he had a meltdown, and I didn't understand. He left me again to process it by myself, and I don't process well. And eventually, my mom get tired of the beatings, the rocks away from school, and Dad come home from school one day. Dad's gone. Dad's just gone. Him and my mom broke up. They had enough, and he went his way. She stayed in the house, and that was it.
Wow. And then did you have a relationship with your dad after that, or no?
At that point, I just came home one day and he's gone. So
how old were you at that time?
8 years old.
Wow, that's hard to process. All of a sudden, Dad is not here. What's going on?
Since day one.
Goodbye to you or nothing. He didn't say goodbye to you. Dad's going to be gone. He's just gone.
Gone. So now I learned 3 lessons as a little kid. And these are the things I want your listeners to understand. It's not what I did, but it's what I learned. Because from what I learned came what I did. And what I learned as a little kid is that it's okay to hit people. Because if my mother can be hit, anybody can be hit.
Wow.
I understood and I learned that I better protect myself. Because those kids threw rocks and names at me on the bus, nobody came to help me. Yeah. And third lesson I learned, I don't have to explain myself to anybody. My dad walked out of the house and never said bye. He ain't got to explain himself. He quit. He quit. So if my dad can quit, I can quit. And when I went forward, that's how I see the world.
No, I totally understand it, man. That makes total sense. That makes total sense. You know, one, you have to protect yourself. You know, 2, it's okay to hit people because you can see your mom get hit, and that's a normal thing. You know what I mean? And yeah, it makes total sense, man. It makes total sense. So you grew up seeing that. So what happens as you are developing now? You're 8, 9, 10 teenage years. I bet you're getting all kinds of stuff.
Oh, by the time I got to be a teenager, it's okay to hit people. It's okay to shoot people.
Wow.
It's not, I'm going to protect myself. I'm going to dominate this space.
Wow. So what space was it? What were you getting into? Was it guy dealing drugs,
robbing people, just being in the street? I'm in the street, and my mindset is where I'm at, I own. I'm going to dominate this space. If I'm in the club tonight, I own the club. I'm going to do a stick up, I own the block. If I'm down there robbing drug dealers, run yours. With my life, I'm dominating everything.
I see. Because before you didn't have any control. You know, you got no control. Now that you're grown up, you got to look, man, nobody's going to control me no more. Nobody's going to throw rocks at me. Nobody's going to, beat me up. Nobody's going to call me names. I'm going to take control. I'm the man. Then try me now.
And the last one was, I can quit anything I don't want to do. So if there's something I don't like, I just quit. Yeah. And it was like, why you quit that? I didn't feel like it. I didn't want to do that. So I just quit. So I quit band. I quit track club, I quit the choir. I can tell you 1,000 things I quit that would have changed my whole life. I had a Mr. Duvall in 9th grade, my first leadership teacher, Mr. Duvall, my drafting teacher. He saw all kinds of potential in me, and I quit drafting. I quit going to this leadership program. I just quit on everybody.
You want to control. You know, you're like, I'm my own man now. I want to quit. It's okay to quit. My dad quit on me. I can quit on anything too.
If you got too close, I would quit. If you got too close to me, I would quit. That's what that was like. When people got close to me and got like that, I'm like, nah, I quit. Because in my mind, if I become too friendly with you, you might replace my dad, and I don't want that.
Wow. I've never, it makes total sense. Wow.
I had to keep that seat open for him. Literally, when we used to eat dinner, he sat at the head of the table, and I sat the seat right next to him. So if you were my dad, I'd be sitting right there next to you. I had this, there was like 3 kids on each side of the table, mom, dad. I had to seat literally at my dad's right hand.
Wow.
So I wanted him to come back and, in theory, take that seat back in my life. So I couldn't let anybody else sit in that seat.
So you saw your dad how often?
After that, who knows? When I was little, not that often. Then we moved. Because bouncing around, we moved to another neighborhood. My mother would send me over there on the weekends, stuff like that. But we go over there and sit in the room, watch TV while he be doing whatever he was doing.
Yeah.
And the biggest beef I have with my dad, of all the things I can come up with, is he left my mom, for whatever the reason, or she left him. He got with somebody else who already had 2 kids. And he raised her kids. And he did a fabulous job. I am so proud of my little brother, Brian. It's not even funny. He graduated high school. He went to Annapolis. He's been an officer in the Navy for over 25 years. I cried when they told me my little brother was flying helicopters. I'm in prison. I'm in a maximum security prison. I forget who. I called home. They're like, yo, Brian's flying helicopters. I cried. I was so happy. Love the little dude. Grown man now. But you should have made me do my homework. You should have made sure I went to bed on time.
Invested some time with me. Invested in me. Yeah.
Yeah, you knew how to do it. You just didn't do it for yours.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe he knew how he messed up. And he goes, this time I'm not going to mess up again. I don't know, but it doesn't make sense.
No, my brother's 2 years. My younger brother's a year younger than me. Brian, maybe he's 1 or 2 years behind him. So it's not like it's a 30-year gap. We are literally growing up at the same time in the same age bracket.
Got it. Wow. Wow.
But I'm not 20 and he's 10. I'm 10 and he's 7. Or I'm 8 and he's 5. So it's not a big deal.
Walking around, you're the man in the hood. You know, you own the space. You let everyone know you're in control of your life. You quit everything. I do what I want, when I want, with who I want. I can quit what I want to do. You know, that obviously that's a recipe for disaster. That's not a recipe for success.
Exactly.
So what did it lead to? What kind of trouble did you get into, and what led to for you to go to maximum maximum security prison?
It led to this. I'm not going to school. I'm not listening to anybody. And there's a rule that everybody must understand. You must eat. This is a basic fundamental rule. Your dog knows
it. I love it.
You know it. In case you don't think I know, you must eat. My father's not feeding me. My mother's not feeding me. I don't have a job, so a job's not feeding me. So only I can feed me. I'm in charge of feeding. I'm done with school lunch. I'm not going to talk about the free lunch days, and that's a headache and a whole nother traumatizing scenario. I have to feed me. I wake up. I'm 16-year-old. I have no education. I got 2 guns in the closet. I got a bunch of friends with the same stuff. We got to eat. That's a baseline.
All right. So tell me how you eat it now. How'd you use the guns to eat? Robbing?
Drug dealers.
You used to deal drugs, robbing?
No. We didn't sell drugs. We robbed the drug dealers.
Oh, shit.
They had the money.
Oh, shit. So drug dealers are kind of like known as thugs and gangsters. So you were above, you know, you're the gangsters thug.
In the days, drug dealers weren't deemed as tough. Think about it. You get a bag of dope. You got somebody who's an addict who's stressed out and strung out and at the lowest point of their life. They give you $20, you hand them a bag of dope. Where's tough in that? Where do you get gangster from? I hand you $20, you hand me a bag of crack. Where's gangster?
That's so true.
No gangster transactions with a crackhead. There's no gangster transactions with a dope fiend. There's no gangster transactions with a pill dude. If you're addicts, they're at the lowest point in their life. They'll do anything you say for the drug. They ain't giving them no resistance. Ain't nothing gangster about handing out drugs. Nothing.
So you identify who the dope dealers were.
And rob them. And
you rob them. Like tell me, I mean, how do you, gosh, man, I'm trying to figure out the thought process. All right, so I know Isaac right there is a dope dealer. When do you plan to hit him up when he has the most money?
You have to go, it's called research. You have to watch him to see how much he's selling, when is he re-up. I mean, if he's out there selling 20 bags, whatever, you just watch him and you get your recon. It's like any other business deal. You have to watch and say, okay, we want to put a factory over there, or we want to put a McDonald's over there. Well, what's the foot traffic? What's the traffic?
You didn't say anything else, right? So you start, I mean, all right, so you start helping up drug dealers. At one point, didn't it become known that you were the drug dealer robber? Yeah. And did they at any time were like, all right, man, we gotta kind of like now strap up and gotta do something?
We stay strapped up.
No, I'm talking about the drug dealers.
Back in the 80s, guns weren't as plentiful as they are now. In the 80s, if there was 10 guys, it might be 4 guns. Now, if there's 10 guys, it might be 30 guns and 20 more at home. Guns were a little bit harder to get in the 80s.
So tell me the incident, the night or the day that led you to go to prison.
Well, we went to a house, and for the record, I robbed suburban drug dealers.
Okay.
A lot easier.
A lot easier.
So We got in the house. We're robbing the house. One of the guys was supposed to be tied up in the bathroom while we were getting his stuff. Somehow, I know how, he got let go, and he called the police from the phone. Phone call goes in, 3 black men armed with a gun in a suburban neighborhood. It was like 30 police cars outside in about 10 seconds. And that was it.
So the drug dealer called the cops on you.
Yeah.
These guys are robbing my drugs.
They left that part out. Say you had drugs in your house.
Yeah.
You look like you live in a nice neighborhood. I come in your house. Back in the 80s, there's no guns, there's no cameras, there's no pit bulls in the suburbs. I come in, I tie you up, tie whoever's in the house. I'm like, okay, now give me the drugs. And somebody got free. Are you not going to call the police?
Wow. All right.
3 black guys you call it in, 3 black guys in your neighborhood, in your house with guns. They coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
It gets to the point is my life is more important than whatever the consequences. We weren't going to kill anybody, but they don't know that.
Okay, so throughout this whole, how many years did you rob drug dealers before you got caught?
Probably 2.5.
On average, I'm just curious to know, on the average, you have to average it out. How much money each time you robbed them, how much money did you get?
You can go anywhere from 2,000 to 20. The type of
okay. I'm just curious to know. I want to know that, I want to know the volume.
What happens with suburban guys, they get it, they got their own money, plus they're not really like heavy. If you go in the hood, you go not down to the hood, you can hit somebody for 80 grand easy because they have that type of traffic. Yeah. In the hood, in the projects, you got thousands of people coming through every week spending money. Out in the suburbs, it's a little bit slow.
Got it.
You don't turn over as fast.
And it's also easier to get at them than easier. Yeah.
Except when the call goes in. You got 3 black guys in the suburbs, you ain't getting out.
Yeah. You're pretty much done, man. Yeah. So the house got slammed out a little bit. So you went to, you got charged. You got, how many years did you get?
Well, I had a bunch of charges over like a 2.5 year span. They gave me 7 to 10 for armed robbery, 9 to 10 for armed assault with a shotgun, 9 to 10 for armed assault with a shotgun, 10 years for kidnapping, 10 years for robbery, 15 to 20 for armed home invasion, 15 to 20 for armed carjacking, and 5 years for the gun.
God, that's a lot.
It's about 100 years.
Okay, so you had 100 years. So you basically had a life sentence. At this point, at this time, how old were you?
18.
18. So you pretty much threw your life away, pretty much. And what changed?
What changed is nothing. What happens is I was a robber on the street, and you put me in a prison because I committed robbery. I didn't change. You just drove me from one end of town to the other. And I'm in here with like 2,000 people who are just like me. The only difference is we can't rob people in the community. We got to rob each other now. So now it's like the battle of the fittest.
Battle of the alpha male. Who the man in the prison now?
Let me tell you something. There's still a rule in the prison. You must eat.
Yeah. That's, I think, universal law of human nature, right?
Now, it's just the thing in prison. When you do something in the street, you can get in your car and drive away. If you did something in your house, you go to the airport and fly to Florida. In prison, you can't go anywhere. So whatever you do bounces back real fast.
If you rob somebody, they're gonna come back at you. All right. How many fights in prison did you get?
Fights in prison. That's I'll tell you this. I've been charged 8 times with attempted murder and convicted twice for attempted murder. I've had 2 rides on airplanes where I made them land the plane. You seen Con Air? I lived it. So I've been 2.5 years in solitary confinement, 24 hours a day, locked in a cage in the basement with no sunlight. I've been chained to beds. I've been chained to walls. I've been force medicated with Thorazine. Been done that. So the fighting stuff is just.
That was a normal. That's normal. That's like eating bread.
Did you walk your dog today? Yeah. Did you walk your dog?
Man, yeah. So when did you get out? How long were you never get out? And how did you get out?
I was in for 6 years, and I went from the bottom of the list. Like when you first started your Instagram page, you had 1 follower, you. Mm-hmm. Now you have like 700,000-800,000. You built your way up. You watched people, you copied, you attacked, you engaged, and you started putting better content out. I did the same thing. I went from number 20,000 to number 3. 6 years in, I was the third ranking guy in the state.
Wow.
And that's a lot of work put in. That's a lot of fights on planes, fights in dungeons, fights on yards, going back and forth to court for attempted murder charges. I got shipped to 9 different states. So I did the work, as they say. And I'm in a situation where I had an opportunity to become the #1 guy. If I stabbed this one set of dudes, it would have propelled me into the #1 slot. It's like pound for pound best fighter. And before I did it, I realized I'm about to become the king of nowhere. I'm like, all of this is smoke and mirrors. I'm about to become the king of nowhere. Nobody cares about this prison, who's in it, where we at, what we're doing. It's all fake. And I had an epiphany moment like, this is like that last line. I walked back. I stepped back and said, I'm not going to do this. And I came up with another plan. I said, I don't want to die in prison. I don't even want to be in prison. So I started thinking, okay, first time I've ever said I wanted to go home was 6 years in. And I said, well, I want to go home. I want to be free, which is my first thought, freedom. And I looked around at all the groups, white, black, Spanish, Asian, chess guys, church guys, Muslims, everybody. Nobody went home and stayed home. Everybody came back. So I said, free doesn't work. So I said, I don't want to be free. I want to be successful, because successful people don't come here. I looked around at successful people, and they were all out living great lives. So that day in 1991, I said, I'm going home. I'm going to be successful. And I said, I'm going to go to college, because that's where successful people come from. I picked a school called Harvard University. So I'm going to go home. I'm going to go to Harvard. I'm going to be successful. Mind made up. Lock it down.
So getting a 100-year sentence, how was that reduced for you to get out?
I went first. I taught myself how to read. I got a GED and taught myself how to read. Wow. Then I took that. I went to the law library. And I taught myself the law. I became what they call a jailhouse lawyer. And once I got that information, I teamed up with a real lawyer, and we appealed one of my cases and took 10 years off. Now, I had 100 years in terms, but I was supposed to do like 24.
Got it.
So when I took 10 off, it knocked it down. And I started doing good behavior, started doing programs. I quit hustling on the yard. And people don't understand prison. That's the first thing. There's a good chance 99% of the people watching this podcast do not understand prison. That's a great thing. Let me tell you why they're fighting in prison. It's not for neighborhoods. It's not for colors. If you take a prison with 2,000 people in it, that's an average size prison, and make 50% of them drug addicts, which is a really low number, you have 1,000 drug addicts. A bag of heroin will cost $50 back in the day. So if I can sell one bag of heroin to every addict, that's $50,000 a day. Times 7 days is $350,000. Times 4 weeks is $1.4 million. In heroin sales, if I can only sell one bag a day to each addict, throw in cocaine, throw in gambling, throw in weed, throw in pills, throw in extortion, you have millions of dollars being made behind these walls. Then that's up there lifting weights. There are millions of dollars. Now, with the invention of cell phones, which weren't around when I was back in the day, this cell phone will cost you $2,000 to $3,000 in a prison. Let's take that same 2,000 people and sell them each a phone for $2,000. That's $4 million in cell phones.
Damn, that's that real hustle going behind. The real drug dealer going on in prison.
Oh, there's money being made. So now the beef, the whole thing is, who's going to dominate that commerce? Who's going to dominate that field? And I was in the space of trying to dominate that field because I wanted a large percentage of that proceeds. The strongest team gets the most money, period.
Wow.
So it was never about what side of town you from, what color are you. It's always about the money. Now what happens, if you're on my team and something happens to you, then of course I'm going to ride with you. But for the most part, it was about the money, first and foremost.
So you get out, you said you went to Harvard?
I flipped the case. I started going to programs. I got my mind right. And it took me 8 years from the time I said it. I want you to think I snapped my fingers and went home. It was 8 years later when I said I wanted to be successful that I walk out of prison. I went from the prison to the parole office to a youth center because my commitment was to help kids not be like me. So I went to a youth center 90 minutes after I got out of jail, and I started talking to the kids about their circumstances. And most of the reason they're going to jail is not where they live or what they look like. It's unresolved trauma. Somebody's done something to them or done something around them or exposed them to the wrong thing, and they got the same 3 lessons that I had that they're governing their lives by. I wasn't a bad kid. I just had bad intentions based on bad lessons. And these kids had the same problem. They get high, they self-medicate. They ain't bored. They don't like the pain of watching their mother be beat. They don't like the pain of being hungry at night. Who wants to go to bed hungry? Can you imagine going to bed hungry 4 nights out of the week? What would you do if there was no food in your house? And you're 8 years old.
I gotta eat.
You're 8. You're 8 and you're hungry. And you got a little sister who's 4 and she's hungry. What are you gonna do?
I gotta go make it happen. I gotta get some food.
At 8, there's no place you can go. You're just going to bed hungry. Yeah. Now, when you get to be 12 and 13, it's something different. At 7 and 8, you just going to bed hungry. And you're never going to forget that.
Man. So tell me about, what are you doing today to make a difference? Because I know, you're doing a lot of good things for the community. Tell me what your passion is right now. What are you doing for the kids, and what are you doing for the community so that others don't take the same route as you did?
Well, I mean, with that, I've taken all the experiences in my life. From growing up in the inner city, from going to bad public schools, to quitting on stuff, to my dad, my mom, my sister, the prison experience, the bad lawyer experience, bad girlfriend experience, you name it. I've taken all my experiences. I've been able to withdraw the lessons from them. There are lessons in every last one of those. And I've taken them lessons, and I've been able to take those and turn them into positives for other people. Every part of my life, from being in the gang, to being in the hustle, to being in solitary confinement, everything I've been through, I've gone back and said, okay, Dre, you in a gang. How did that look? How did that work? And what are the qualities? What went through? What didn't go through? What can you turn that into a lesson? And I've done that with every aspect of my life. So now, when I come home, I'm getting kids who look like me, and I'm helping them understand the process. Talking at people does no good. I can tell you smoking is bad. You knew that before you picked up a cigarette. There's a reason you smoke. I got to address the reason.
The root cause.
I learned to speak to the root cause because I had the same root cause issues. So I started helping kids that look just like me because that's why I felt comfortable. And that moved into helping first boys, then girls. And somebody asked me to work with white kids. I'm like, white kids don't have no problems. What problems white kids got? It's their country. They own everything. They own all the sports teams, all the businesses, all the big houses. White House, this is pre-Obama. So there was all the presidents. And then I went to an all-white school. And I realized white kids get high. They have sex. They got bullies. They all ain't smart kids. I literally grew up watching Leave It to Beaver. I grew up watching The Partridge Family. I grew up watching 90210. This is my vantage point of white life. And never did Beaver go to bed hungry. Never did any of the Partridge Family go to bed hungry. There was no drug addicts on the Brady Bunch. Nothing. So I'm like, this is white life. We mean white people got problems? Didn't understand it until I saw it. And when I came out of that school, I realized being 15 is hard no matter who you are or what you look like. So I just started helping anybody. I said, if my phone rings, I'm not asking why, I'm just asking where. Then I got a call from Guatemala. So I fly to Guatemala. Started helping kids in Guatemala. I got a call from West Africa. I go to Liberia. I get a call from Texas. I go to Texas. I just start going around helping as many people as possible. And so it got to the point of my experiences can be helpful. I ran into a professor from London Business School. They came to Boston to do some kind of retreat, and on their business retreat, they take the executives out and expose them to the inner city. Let's expose them to real life. I was the real life guy they got exposed to. So I'm taking these like 12 white people out with me from Europe around the hood. And when they finished, they saw crack houses, they met prostitutes, they met gang members, they went into detox, they went into homeless shelters, they went into juvenile prison. They'd never seen this type of stuff in their life. And the professor was so moved, he said, if Andre can do this with gang members and prostitutes, what can he do with businessmen? So he called me up. They flew me to London. They said, listen, Dre, we have no background on this. It was a company called Deutsche Bank. They're the top 40 executives from Deutsche Bank at London Business School. He said, go in there and do what you do. And I went into the room, and we had a conversation, blew it away. That was in 2001. I still work for London Business School. KPMG, Price Waterhouse, Deutsche Bank, Dannon Foods, Lens Construction, British Petroleum. I go down a list of $30 billion companies that I now train or do trainings with through London Business School. based on the experiences and insights that I grew up with.
Wow, you will never think that, a lot of people will get out of prison and just, like you said, will go right back. I know I don't know the exact statistics, but I know it's a very high number.
70%.
And you not only didn't go back, but you made a message out of it. You turned your setback into a comeback. Your tragedy became your voice. And now you have all these companies, very well-known companies that are hiring you to speak and collaborate with. Tell us about other products, books, courses, anything else that you have that, that because you're a fascinating dude, bro.
Well, this is the thing. When I was in gang life, I used to recruit people. And this is crazy. I'm at a conversation with one of these $80 billion companies. And they're like, hey, Dre, and the guy was it was lunchtime. And the guy was stressed out. I'm like, what's the matter? He's like, my VP of sales just quit. And he went down the street, took a job at our competitor. We got this big contract coming up. Now we're fighting against our whole department that was going for the money is now working for the other side, and we're not going to get it. I'm like, that's crazy. He quit working at your company, went work for your competitor, and now he's working against you with all your secrets. He said, yeah. I couldn't understand it. He kept explaining it to me. I said, I've been in the game a long time. I've had people quit the gang, move down south, quit the gang, join the church, or whatever, go witness protection, but never in the history of my life
gang, right?
has anybody quit my gang, joined the other gang, and shot back at me. This never happened. He said, you know something, Dre? It happens all the time in corporate.
It does, though. I can tell you from where it does. It does.
You know what he said? He said, can you teach my people to have that type of loyalty?
Yes.
So we started a corporate retention program based on gang loyalty. Minus the guns, no guns.
No. It makes total sense. Because you're basically are building the company culture, right? Because a gang is just a culture of people who have the same vision, who have the same bond, and they have some closeness together. And you basically, in corporate America, a lot of times people don't have that. But once you build the culture, the vision and the mission, and get everybody on the same page, and we're working together as a unit, that's where that comes. And you have street experience in doing that, and you just brought it to corporate America.
The thing is, when I was in the streets, I watched people die holding down a street corner. And that guy gets shot down tonight. His blood's on the sidewalk. They pick him up. Tomorrow night, we standing on top of his blood. Then we get locked up, and the brothers are standing on top of that same corner the next day. And it's 30 years later, they still stand on that corner. Guy gets arrested. He's charged with a crime. He can tell on his friends and go home. He takes a life sentence because he's bought into the concept or the culture of the gang life.
Yeah.
So the culture is strong. The teaching is strong. The methodology is wrong.
Yeah.
So we've taken out
wrong vehicle. Yep.
The process of creating that person in that space is great. It's just, we just can't create them into, the same process is cool. You just can't, we don't want to create more gang members. We want to create loyal people in your business. That people, they don't want to die for you, but it will go all out for you.
Wow.
And corporate is like, man, he going to give me 20,000 in a better parking spot, I'm gone. I couldn't imagine somebody coming and say, yo, Dre, man, I give you 10,000, man, sell out your brothers. Huh? What are you talking about? Because we're family. We have a family mindset. So I've taken all the experiences from something as simple as joining a gang, communication, how to read people. In prison, you better read people in 0.2 seconds. You might end up dead.
Yeah.
When somebody comes to you with a deal, you not only need to assess the deal, you need to assess the person and all the variables attached to that person before you say anything. So I'm an expert because I'm still breathing. I tell people, this is between us. Sam, you know what I am for real?
Yeah.
I'm a professional breather. Watch this. I'm a professional at that.
Yeah.
Because in prison, non-professionals die.
Yeah, for sure.
If you ain't a professional breather, you out of here. So I've taken every experience from every lens, and we've turned it into, whether it's corporate trainings, family trainings, drug interventions, networking ability, negotiation skills, because that's all we had to do. And the difference between my world in the world that I'm working in now. In my old world, if you got it wrong, you die.
Wow. Wow.
So this interview, if this conversation in a prison setting, if it went wrong, one of us could die.
Wow. So tell me, is there a book and a course that you have as well? That's what I want to know.
A year and a half ago, I got so many friends, I could be doing shout outs for hours straight. One of my biggest mentors is a guy named Cameron Herald. There's another guy named John Rulin. These are just 2 of like 100 of my top mentors. So John's from the Midwest and Cameron's from Canada, and they've known me for years, and they love me, and they grabbed me and was like, Dre, you have to do a book. I've tried to do a book, but my life is so crazy. The best writer is like some weird guy. He would ask you a bunch of questions and go try to write your life, and it never sounded like me. So they took me to a guy named Tucker Max. He's out of Austin.
I know Tucker.
Tucker got a company called Scribe, used to be Book in a Box. They took me to Tucker and said, Tucker, you have to tell this man's story. And Tucker heard him out, and he met with me. He said, I'll tell the story. Oh,
love it. Oh.
Straight from Scribe.
I love that.
This is a Tucker Max exclusive.
I love that.
And they got together, got with Tucker. Dude, one of the smartest guys, and Rufus, he should have been a gang member. Tucker could have ran with us. Tucker could have really ran with us. He's down like that. Tucker could have been in the crew. He'd have been the first white guy we let on our team. But Scribe, I tried to do my book 1,000 times. Scribe knocked it down like that. First thing he said to me is, because I tried to tell him about the manuscript I wrote and the stuff he said, Andre, this is straight Tucker. How many books have you written? I said, none. He said, then let me do it. He said, I gave like a 400-page manuscript. He said, how many books have you written? I said, none. He said, then take that back.
Let me do my thing. Got it. Andre, for people who want to learn more about you and maybe hire you to speak or hire you to do some corporate training, and just to know more about you, where they can find more information about you. Because you're a fascinating dude, bro.
You can find me. You can go to my website, AndreNorman.com. Shoot me an email. I got an Instagram page, Andre Norman. Shoot me a DM. They can reach out to you, and I'm sure you forward them to me. I do a lot of my addiction recovery help work. There's a company called Genius Network, and I'm in Scottsdale.
I know Genius Network. I know Dan Sullivan and Joe Polish and them. Yeah.
Joe Polish owns Genius Network. Yeah. Dan owns Strategic Coach.
Yes.
And Joe owns Genius Network. So me and Joe got together a few years back. He has a huge heart for addiction and recovery and people in hurt, pain. So we've merged together where I'm working with him on recovery stuff. So if there's anybody that you know of in any space that needs help with addiction, regardless if it's porn, if it's gambling, if it's drinking, if it's workaholism, doesn't matter. Sugar's an addiction if you ask me, but that's another story. The baseline is Genius Recovery is being set up and run to help people with addictions. If you need an intervention, same difference. If you need me to come speak, my thing is this here. And if you want me to come speak, that's great. Who are we going to help beyond the people in the room? That's going to be my question. Yeah. Can we add some community pieces to this trip? Most of my speeches, I'll go out. I work with YPO. I work with EO. I work with a bunch of companies. They'll bring me out for a speech. And I'll do 3 or 4 days of volunteer work. I'll go to schools, shelters, companies, churches, homeless, doesn't matter, for free.
Yeah.
That part is free. So you say, hey, Dre, I want to bring you out. No problem. I'll give you your speech for the 60 minutes. I'll shake hands and do dinner. I'll teach for 6 hours and do the breaks with you. But can we go beyond that? That we're in your town and bless somebody who can't afford Andre Norman's prices.
Yeah.
And those are free.
Now, obviously, you out there, you might as well just make a difference. Might as well just go beyond, above and beyond just a little seminar or a little training and reach out to the community, man. That's what
you called me and said, Andre, I want you to come out here and do this speech. I give you your fee. And I said, what community spots you got? You said, I ain't got nothing. It's just a speech and you can go. And somebody else calls me and they got 3 community speeches or 4 community speeches lined up. I'll take less money and go to them.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. It's your way of giving back, man. And you're the perfect example of life happens for you, not against you. And now going back, looking at all the things that happened in your life, all the what I call devastations or setbacks, the prison, the dad beating up your mom, dad drug dealing, your stepfather, if you will, or your previous the bank robbers I'm talking about. I mean, I was trying to better explain it. All made you who you are today.
Agreed.
And it's amazing that out of all these things that happened, you never look back and said, setting yourself back. You're doing something great for it, man. And for that, man, I want to just, recognize you for that. I want to appreciate you for your time. Guys, go check out Norman.com.
You got the video we sent you? Can you play it?
Yeah, let's play it. You have it?
Got it. You got it, I thought. She didn't email it to you?
Yes, she emailed it to me. I don't have it right on me. I know I was going to play it.
Oh, I thought I was going to play it for the people, man.
You know what? We can add it. We can add it to this.
Okay, cool.
What you guys can add it to it. Yeah. My crew can add it to it. I will play the video at the end of this. And I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for your time. Everybody, we're going to put all the books and everything that you have on there, your website. And feel free. I'm here for you, and I appreciate you.
I got one ask.
Let's do it.
Anybody watching this part, well, what can I do to help Andre? What does Andre want?
Yes.
When they see the video, they're going to see there was a riot in South Carolina 2 years ago, and 7 people got murdered, 30 got wounded. It was the worst riot in 25 years in U.S. history in prisons. They called me in. I came in. I've been running this prison, or part of it, for 11 months now, almost a year. We haven't had one fight. We went from 7 dead bodies to no fights for a whole calendar year. I have all the top gang leaders, top influencers, top religious folks in one unit, and we're in there working with them day in and day out. I stopped traveling. I stopped speaking. I mean, I live in South Carolina. I'm about 5 minutes away from the prison right now. Right now, I am 5 minutes away from the prison that I work at. I go in there every day. And I help, when I finish these calls, I'm going in there tonight. And we help these people and these brothers learn how to not be violent. It wasn't about me getting out to go to corporate. It was about me getting out, going to corporate, to come back and showing them the possibilities of what they can be. Because that's at the bottom. Our country's only as great as our weakest link and our lowest common denominator. And prisons and addiction is at the bottom. So we got to fix those. So if anybody on this podcast that hears this and said, what can I do to help Andre? There are 50 governors in this country, and there's one president. I want one of those 50 governors or that president, whether it's this one, the next one, and the one after that, whichever governor is, to bring me in and let me fix the prison systems.
Wow.
There's nobody in the United States of America that's going to sit at a table across from me and tell me they know more about prison than I do. From the mental effects, the trauma, how do you transition through it, the gang life, the prison life, the lockdown, riots, going to court, sickness, how to get healthy, how to get better, how to come home, how to come back. I've been doing this for the 20 years I was in and 20 years since I've been home. I want a governor to say, you know something? We want our prison system to produce better people. And this is the man that can do it. So if you know a governor, let's make it happen.
Wow, I love that, man.
Governors control the state prison system. So that's the man I need to sit with. Not the man that knows him. I need to sit with the man that's going to say,
that's your calling.
I'm the state or whatever. Let's talk about making this go.
But that's your calling, man. You're going to put the word out. We're going to put the word out. And I have no doubt in my mind that that's going to happen. Like you said, if anybody can do it, you do it. You've been through it. You know the system, and you know how to get out of it, better yourself, and go and make it in the corporate world.
Yep. And we're making it back in the prison world. But brother, I appreciate you.
Thank you.
If you ever need me, holler at your boy.
Thank you so much, Andre. God bless. Thanks for being on the show.
All right.
Hey guys, if you like today's episode, do me a huge favor. Go and leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel, leave me a review, and tag a few friends that you think can benefit from what we shared today. Really appreciate it. God bless.